Yeah, in terms of sparring, we got some great guys coming in. Some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Love is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're gonna hit up Erickson, Lubin, some of these guys. So we're just gonna bring in a plethora of fighters that are fast, quick, shifty southpaws.
Shakur Stevenson has no relationship with Jake Paul. None. We heard, oh, Bruce is a sparring partner. How much you got paid for that? So now, isn't that also applicable to Shakur Stevenson? Is he not also a sellout?
Like it's honest, but again, I want to see them fight. I want to see some aggression. Tank would have that if it was anyone he actually felt was worth it. I just don't know if he thinks Jake's worth it. And again, I get that feeling that he just is.
Jake Paul has teamed up with Shakur Stevenson for sparring as he gets ready to face Gervonta Tank Davis. And what makes it even more interesting is that Shakur reached out himself to join the camp. Paul explained that his team has been training with fast, skilled southpaw fighters smaller than him, but perfect for copying Tank's style. And while fans were surprised since Paul and Stevenson...
In terms of sparring, we got some great guys coming in. Some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Love is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're gonna hit up Erickson, Lubin, some of these guys. So we're just gonna bring in a plethora of fighters that are fast, quick, shifty southpaws.
Some experts are questioning the sudden link between Jake Paul and Shakur Stevenson, calling it unusual and even a bit shady. Critics are comparing it to when Jaron Boots Ennis helped Canelo Alvarez prepare for Terrence Crawford, but at least Boots and Canelo have family ties and history. With Jake and Shakur, there's no real background or bond, just an arrangement that seems to have appeared out of nowhere. Because of that, many believe money played the biggest role, with Stevenson possibly getting a big payday. To fans,
Shakur Stevenson reached out to Jake Paul in support of him preparing for Gervonta Davis. Help me understand, what is the difference between Boots Ennis reaching out to Canelo Alvarez in support of his preparation for Terrence Crawford versus Shakur Stevenson reaching out to Jake Paul in preparation for his fight with Gervonta Davis? Tell me, what is the difference? I'll tell you what the difference is. The Ennis family actually had a relationship with Canelo Alvarez. Shakur Stevenson had no relationship with Jake Paul. None. We heard, oh, Bruce is a sparring partner. How much you got paid for that? So now, isn't that also applicable to Shakur Stevenson? Is he not also a sellout? I don't want to hear anything about this fight. Guys, against a YouTuber, it doesn't matter. No, Shakur Stevenson is an elite level fighter that is going to be a sparring partner to a YouTuber, and he reached out to him directly to make it happen.
Shakur Stevenson has shared his thoughts on the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight, saying that if he were in Tank's position, he'd see it two ways. From a business angle, it makes perfect sense. The money, the spotlight, and the hype are all there. But as a fighter, Shakur admitted he wouldn't personally take that kind of matchup. His comments highlight the clear divide between boxing as a sport and boxing as a business. While some fans question his decision to spar with Jake, Shakur was upfront that money plays a big role in these choices. He kept it real. Today's boxing is a mix of pride and pay.
So can you blame a man for taking that opportunity? Because this is prize fighting, right? It's about making money and securing your family. Can you fault him for that?
It's two sides of that. Like,
okay.
It just depends. Like, as a fighter, just because I had a draw with somebody, for me, I may run it back. But in a business aspect, if you run it back and you lose to Lamont, and then the Jake Paul fight is presented, you may not make as much money, or the fight may not be as lucrative as it was before you lost. So as a business, I understand. I ain't gonna hate on the decision, but as a man
your
and
pride
as
will
a
get in the way.
Fighter with my integrity.
Yeah, but isn't there a price for everything, Shakur? Like, even if you had a draw with somebody and you were offered 10 times more than you ever, I don't know what the number is, but it's a lot more than.
Things boiled over at the press conference when Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis faced off, leading to a heated shove that quickly blew up online and in the media. Still, many boxing insiders think it was all staged to build hype and sell the fight. In today's boxing world, dramatic face-offs are just as important as what happens in the ring. That push wasn't only about tension, it was about creating a storyline. Can Jake use his size to dominate, or will Tank's speed and skill shine through? Either way, the drama has fans both casual and hardcore.
Southpaw orthodox matchup, left hand down the pipe. You can even see here, I'm not even trying to do the whole body language breakdown, but you can even see Tank could get under that left hand because he's 5-0. He could roll under that left hand, and here comes the brick hand over the top. If he lands something like that in 10 ounces, I'm gonna tell you this, Jake's 200 and something pounds. That's still gonna hurt at the very least, and who knows what, because Tank's got ridiculous power. So Jake, a little sloppy on the push there. He got pushed. He wanted to get it back. There's something to be taken away from that, but lines up perfectly for a counter left hand. And you even see his promoter here is kind of grabbing his left hand because Tank wanted to let it fly. And Jake backed up a little bit. He said, oh, and Tank comes to that. Tank, man. Tank said, where I'm from, the bullies get bullied. All right, dude, there you go. Listen, takeaways from this thing, I don't know. Tank seemed to have a little bit more energy today. He seemed to be more lively. Him going back and forth with the media, with Jay Leon, with Jake, with Aiden Ross. There seemed to be a bit more energy today. That's all I really asked for. So in terms of, selling us on something, sure. Better job today from both guys. Jake, seemed a bit more locked in here with Tank as well. They had a little bit more fun. Tank going after Nikisa was pretty funny. But listen, this doesn't change anything in my mind. The 10-ounce gloves doesn't really change anything to me. I mean, again, I think that's a bad idea for Tank, more so because even if Jake doesn't land clean, those are 10-ounce gloves, still gonna hurt. Tank is still punching in gloves that are 2 ounces heavier than he normally uses, so I don't know how that's a win for him. The $2 million bet almost certainly won't happen, which I didn't think would in the first place, but Tank pretty much confirmed it. And we're all left with the same kind of idea that we thought about this to begin with. This is an entertainment exhibition that we know is gonna draw a ton of eyeballs. I'm gonna watch, and there's gonna be great high-level competition boxing on the underneath card. And even in the main event, if something is to happen, if someone is to get knocked out, it will go mega viral. And both these guys are gonna—
Even with all the hype around it, those close to the sport say Gervonta Davis is locked in and treating this fight with full seriousness. Analysts highlight his sharp focus, tough training, and no-nonsense attitude, stressing that this bout is about more than money, it's about legacy and exposure. A win over Jake Paul would give Tank not only a huge payday, but also a major boost in popularity. Experts caution that Jake can't approach this like a stunt or exhibition. The way his talks with Mike Tyson were framed,
in this particular in the press conference, and you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's gonna get this money for sure, because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games, don't hit him in the back of the head, don't rabbit punch him, don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson, first of all, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not gonna have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash. Like, you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's gonna be a lot of people watching it, but I gotta say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault that boxing took this turn.
Boxing Boys Showbiz the adult shared his view, saying a Tank Davis win would make him a hero to both hardcore boxing fans and casual viewers. He believes many people are waiting to see Jake Paul finally get humbled after shooting up from influencer to headliner so quickly. For a lot of fans, this fight feels like payback. Jake's rise has excited younger audiences but rubbed traditional boxing fans the wrong way. If Tank knocks him out, it won't just be a win, it'll be a statement. He'd be the man who brought Jake Paul back down to earth. and that would give his image in boxing and beyond a huge boost. Too many fans.
Gervonta Tank Davis stops that. If he is the one who stops this whole train, knocking out Jake Paul, he will become a boxing hero. People will then say, now get the hell out the sport. And I'm talking about from a fighter's perspective. That's what they're going to say. Now, it's not going to go on either one of their official records because it's an exhibition. But it doesn't matter because optically, visually, seeing that go viral, and I mean go viral, and Jake Paul will never hear the end of it.
We're gonna have to help you up. We're gonna have to help you up. We're gonna see about it. Help you up. You gonna see.
Because Gervonta Tank Davis is not only a real boxer, he's a real boy. He's 5'5". He's a lightweight. Skills pay the bills. Let him knock out Jake Paul, give him bandy legs, or knock him down. Gervonta Tank Davis, that moment will go viral, and he will be a far bigger, well-known boxer than he is today, and he will also be a hero. And that's the Black Two Sugars. That you guys don't want to admit it. Don't bull jive. Think about it. He will be a boxing hero. It will go viral over and over. It's the same thing. No, not even the same. It's not even close. But there was a viral reaction when AJ knocked out Francis Ngannou.
Anthony Joshua can dispel the MMA champion.
When AJ knocked out Francis Ngannou in the first round, it was like.
Former champ Timothy Bradley didn't mince words, calling Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis an easy cash grab for Tank. He pointed out that Davis has faced elite, world-class opponents, and compared to them, Jake isn't a real threat. In Bradley's eyes, there's no chance Paul beats Davis. This is a big money, low-risk matchup. He sees it as a way for Tank to boost his profile and bank account by tapping into Jake's fame. Many in boxing agree, saying this fight isn't about testing Jake's skills, but about giving Tank a bigger stage, while ensuring he gets the win. Even if
innocence and say that it ain't fit. Because check this out, Tank ain't gonna lose this fight. Hell no. Hell no. Tank ain't losing this fight. Too many hoes. Man, Jake don't have enough experience. Yeah, man, it's gonna be taking candy from a baby. You know, Jake is missing the rules. See, this is what happened when you don't grow up in the game. When you don't grow up in the game, man, at a young age, this is what happened. You know, you start reading your own press clippings. That's what Jake is doing. You know, fighting this lower level competition, and now he think he an ish. Now he think he the man. He ain't the man. You killing me? He is not the man. Oh no, yeah, false sense of security. Now he trying to pick on small folks, right? You know, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Yeah, I'm just saying size-wise. Yeah, that's another thing, boxing one-on-one. You can't pay attention to size. Hell no, I told y'all it's the size of the heart, right? In that damn dog. It ain't the size of the damn dog, and I told y'all that, man. Yeah, it's the same thing here. And it's about the smartest dog. Tank too smart for him. Tank got too much boxing IQ for Jake, man. This gonna be easy. Easy. Like I said, man, Tank, please. Please, man. Don't do this to boxing, bro. If there's anything, man, shoot. Man, we can put together some kind of account for you, a GoFundMe account.
Analyst Paulie Malignaggi weighed in, saying both the matchup and the location are part of a smart plan to turn Tank Davis into a mainstream American star. If Tank beats Jake, especially on a big US stage, he'll gain attention far beyond just boxing fans. Malignaggi admitted no one fully knows why this fight came together the way it did, but the business side is obvious. Jake Paul brings buzz, Tank brings skill, and together
there's obviously a reason why the networks wanted to make Gervonta Davis a star.
But let's look at it. And Robert, I want to ask you this. When you looked at the numbers for Canelo, you know, his fight against Crawford, 41 million viewers. That's what they got. It was the most viewed championship fight of this century. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson got 108 million. It got more than double, significantly more than double. Is it the idea of the streaming services, Netflix, where they're following the numbers, Robert, and that's where the numbers are?
It's what we're coming to, the real fights where they deserve to be seen throughout the world. It's great. They have good numbers, but when you see guys that are YouTubers, guys that are 60-year-old retired and coming back, and getting 2 times more than what a real fight. It's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of embarrassing, kind of sad that we're getting there, that we're in that situation. But I also can't blame them, they're all making a lot of money. That's why Tank is doing it. I think it's ridiculous. It's a joke. But I can't go against that either. He's making a lot of money. Jake Paul is doing his thing. Jake Paul is he makes these fights happen and gets the views. So people are tuning in. That's the problem, that people are.
Promoter Nikiza by Darian stirred the pot by confirming the fight will use 10-ounce gloves. That's standard for smaller fighters, but it's unusual here given the big size difference between Paul and Davis. When asked about a rehydration clause rules that limit how much weight a fighter can put back on after. Weigh-ins by Darian gave no clear answer. That left fans guessing if Jake's team pushed for special terms to even things out, since
at 195 max weight.
Okay.
10 3-minute rounds.
Okay.
And 12-ounce gloves. And most of you guys know boxing, right? Most of the fights are with 10-ounce gloves. Fighters spar in 16-ounce gloves. 12-ounce and 10-ounce gives you a little bit more safety, which is the key here, given the size difference, but there's a massive experience difference. We will have 3 world-class judges ringside that the commission has approved to ensure there's a rendered decision for the fans. It will not go on their record, but there will be 3 experienced judges, some of the best in the business, giving their view of who won the fight.
So let me just follow up with this then. The Florida statute says that it means an exhibition means a boxing, kickboxing, or mixed martial arts.
You saw the exhibition of Floyd and Logan.
Okay.
So just go with that, and if they weren't trying to hit each other, tell me they weren't trying to hit each other. That's up to Tank. What I can tell you is Tank is focused on coming in the best shape of his life. It's not about gaining weight. It's about having the speed advantage.
What can we expect on the undercard? Championship fights?
Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern, we'll announce 5 fights, 4 of which are title fights. So yes, you can expect to see another MVP fully stacked card. No prospects on a big show like this.
What's up?
Yes, go ahead. As in, how do the fighters prepare?
You and
I mean, look, we started MVP 4 years ago with a mission to be fighter first, right? And I think like this event is exactly that. We're giving Tank a massive platform and opportunity for the world to see who that young man is. He's misunderstood in many ways, but at heart, he is a great human being who has a family and wants to do big things to make an impact on the sport and take care of his family. So we're excited about that. In terms of preparing for this, it's no different than Mike Tyson and Taylor Serrano. It's just another big event that's on a global scale.
Is there a rehydration clause involved?
No comment.